the crew, including Isaac, Chen, and Johnston, discuss their mission to respond to a distress call from the Ishimura. They note the ship's darkness and lack of running lights as they approach, finding it unusual for such a large vessel. As they near the Ishimura, the team attempts to hail the ship but receives no response. They speculate about potential communication issues. Suddenly, their ship loses control during the docking procedure. The crew manages to stabilize their craft using emergency measures, but they crash land on the Ishimura. Despite the rough landing, the team decides to proceed with their mission to investigate and offer assistance. The team enters the Ishimura, armed with pulse rifles as a standard precaution. They find the ship eerily empty, with no signs of the crew. As they explore, they encounter malfunctioning systems and disturbing signs of a hasty evacuation. Isaac accesses a computer terminal, revealing that many of the ship's critical systems are offline or malfunctioning. The team begins to sense that something is seriously wrong on the Ishimura. As the team works to restore power and access different areas of the ship, they hear strange noises. Suddenly, they are attacked by grotesque mutated creatures. In the ensuing chaos, Chen is killed and the survivors are forced to flee. They realize that these monsters, which appear to be mutated crew members, have overrun the ship. The team decides to head for the bridge, hoping to find survivors and answers. The survivors reach the bridge, but find no one alive. They discover that the ship's systems are locked down with the captain's codes. They formulate a plan to retrieve the captain's rig from the morgue to access these codes. Meanwhile, they learn that their own ship, the Kellion, has been destroyed, leaving them stranded on the Ishimura. The situation grows more desperate as they realize the extent of the infestation and their isolation. Isaac manages to restore some of the ship's systems, allowing the team to move more freely. They continue to encounter and battle the mutated creatures while searching for answers and a way off the ship. The team discovers disturbing information about the nature of the infestation and its possible connection to the planet they're orbiting, Aegis VII. As they delve deeper into the ship, the team uncovers more horrifying details about the fate of the crew and the origin of the monsters. They find logs and records indicating that the infestation may be linked to something called the Marker on Aegis VII. The situation becomes even more critical when they discover that the Ishimura's engines are offline and the ship is in a decaying orbit toward the planet. Isaac heads to engineering to attempt to restart the engines and stabilize the ship's orbit. The team continues to fight for survival while trying to unravel the mystery of what happened on the Ishimura. They learn that the outbreak may have started on the colony on Aegis VII, suggesting a connection between the planet, the Marker, and the horrific mutations they're encountering. As they piece together the information, they realize that the situation is far more complex and dangerous than they initially thought, with implications that extend beyond just the Ishimura and its crew. Miners discovered alien artifacts on Aegis VII, a restricted area. The artifacts caused hallucinations, paranoia, and suicides among the crew. Despite these dangers, the Ishimura brought a mysterious object called the Marker on board. The protagonist successfully restarted the ship's engines, allowing it to move again. However, the autopilot is now taking the ship into a geostationary orbit through planet-cracked debris, which could be dangerous without the offline asteroid defense system, ADS. The ship's systems are in poor condition, and a few bad strikes from debris could destroy it. The protagonist disabled the tram lockdown from engineering and is instructed to meet at the bridge to work on the situation together. It's revealed that the Concordance Extraction Corporation, CEC, likely knew about the Marker all along, suggesting their true motive for sending the Ishimura was to retrieve this alien technology rather than for mining operations. This revelation raises questions about the mission's true nature and the fate of the crew. The ship has entered a dangerous debris field, making it crucial to repair the ADS. The team plans to meet at the captain's nest to address the situation. Meanwhile, a containment breach is detected, but life support systems are holding. A horrifying encounter occurs with a transformed crew member, highlighting the grave danger posed by the mysterious force affecting the ship. The team resolves to fix the situation, honoring their fallen colleagues. The ADS cannon's power routing is damaged, requiring a redirect of power from the administration systems. To repair the ADS, the protagonist must rewire junction boxes. This requires reactivating the atrium elevators from security using a CEC executive keycard. There's tension and uncertainty regarding the true nature of the mission and the marker's significance. The team remains focused on the immediate task of ship repair, setting aside larger questions for later. A warning is given about a large, unidentified threat lurking on the ship, emphasizing the constant danger. A recorded conversation reveals conflict over the marker's delivery to the Church, presumably the Church of Unitology. This leads to a power struggle, with the ship's doctor declaring the captain unfit for duty, resulting in the captain's death. This incident underscores the deep influence of the marker and the involvement of Unitology in the mission. The connection between the alien marker and the symbol of the Church of Unitology raises profound questions about the nature of the religion and its origins. The team successfully transfers power to the ADS cannons, but discovers the auto-targeting system is offline. This necessitates a dangerous manual targeting operation in the vacuum of space. The protagonist courageously undertakes this task, successfully recalibrating the system and bringing the ADS back online. This critical success allows the ship to navigate the debris field safely. However, new challenges emerge as the team intercepts a transmission from the medical deck, prompting further investigation. The protagonist heads to the medical deck, where doors mysteriously lock behind them. They encounter a disturbing situation involving a doctor conducting unethical research related to convergence. This doctor, Mercer, is revealed to be a unitologist experimenting on crew members. The situation escalates into a life-threatening confrontation, highlighting the deadly fanaticism driving some of the ship's remaining crew. The protagonist must find a way to escape and stop Mercer's plans. It's revealed that a previous broadcast was a trick by Dr. Mercer, who has locked down the medical deck for his experiments. The team must now find a way to lift the lockdown manually. Meanwhile, a new crisis emerges as the ship's air quality begins to drop, with something poisoning the oxygen supply in hydroponics. A possible solution involving liquid nitrogen from the cryogenics lab is proposed, adding urgency to the mission as the crew faces potential suffocation. The team successfully obtains liquid nitrogen and synthesizes an enzyme to combat the threat in hydroponics. They learn of a massive creature called the Leviathan that's poisoning the air. The plan involves injecting the enzyme into infected crew members connected to the Leviathan, using them as a conduit to weaken the creature. This dangerous plan is put into action as time runs out and the air quality continues to deteriorate. In a desperate move, the protagonist enters food storage to confront the Leviathan directly. After intense struggle in zero gravity, they manage to weaken and expel the creature, clearing the toxic hazard and improving the ship's air quality. With this immediate threat neutralized, attention turns to the possibility of rescue. An SOS beacon on the mining deck becomes the next objective, offering hope for escape from the nightmare aboard the Ishimura. The situation on the ship has deteriorated significantly. Unitologists have gone mad, attacking crew members. Hammond is hiding in the vents, trying to avoid detection. He informs Isaac that they need to find a beacon quickly to call for help. The marker's influence is becoming more apparent, causing hallucinations and erratic behavior among the crew. Isaac encounters Nicole, who expresses relief at seeing him. She informs him about an SOS beacon nearby that can be used to call for help. Nicole has the clearance to access the workshop where the beacon is locked. They work together to unlock the workshop and prepare the beacon for launch. Isaac fights off attackers while Nicole works on the beacon. The launch tubes for the SOS beacon are obstructed, likely sabotaged by the miners. Isaac devises a plan to attach the beacon to an asteroid in the mining bay and launch it away from the ship for a clean broadcast. Despite the dangers, Isaac proceeds with this risky plan, successfully getting the beacon online and broadcasting. A military ship, the USM Valor, responds to the SOS. However, it's revealed that the Valor has picked up an escape pod containing a necromorph, potentially endangering the rescue mission. Kendra attempts to warn the Valor, but communication is difficult due to signal issues. The situation worsens as the Valor collides with the Ishimura, likely infected by the necromorph from the escape pod. With the Valor compromised, Isaac and Kendra formulate a new plan. They discover an executive shuttle on the crew deck that's missing its singularity core. Isaac plans to salvage the core from the Valor to use in the shuttle. However, they also discover the Valor is carrying a 12-megaton warhead that needs to be stabilized and ejected to prevent a catastrophic explosion. The situation continues to deteriorate. Hammond is attacked and killed by a transformed Chen. Isaac manages to remove the singularity core from the Valor, but the ship is on the verge of exploding. The Ishimura's systems are failing, and evacuation V procedures are initiated. Kendra informs Isaac that some mutated soldiers from the Valor have made it aboard the Ishimura. Isaac encounters Dr. Terrence Kyne, who claims to understand the purpose of the marker and the concept of convergence. Kyne believes returning the marker to Aegis VII will stop the Necromorph outbreak. Meanwhile, Mercer, another scientist, attempts to hinder Isaac's progress. Isaac successfully installs the singularity core on the shuttle, preparing it for potential escape. The marker causes significant damage to the Ishimura's internal systems as it's pulled towards the cargo bay. Isaac decides to pursue the marker, believing it's the key to ending the nightmare. Kendra warns about a massive necromorph entity formed in the cargo bay, with the marker embedded in its center. Isaac plans to use the ship's cargo cranes to retrieve the marker. Kendra reveals her true identity as an agent sent by Earth government to clean up the situation. She explains that the red marker was actually created by humans, reverse-engineered from an alien artifact found on Earth. The Aegis VII incident was part of a government experiment that went wrong. Kendra attempts to take the marker, believing it must be contained to prevent further disasters. Isaac reunites with Nicole in the flight control room. She apologizes for past events and expresses her love for Isaac. Nicole suggests they can still salvage the situation by recalling the shuttle, bringing back the marker, and returning it to Aegis VII. She believes this will make them whole again, echoing the cryptic phrase associated with the marker's influence throughout the ordeal. A shuttle escape is detected, signaling a critical moment in the mission. Despite attempts to prevent it, the escape pod launches successfully. The situation escalates as an ominous presence approaches, suggesting an impending confrontation or danger. A pivotal decision is made to board a shuttle, marking a point of no return. Flight plans are being reprogrammed for a new destination, EEG-7. There's a sense of reunion and renewed determination, with confidence expressed that together, any obstacles can be overcome. However, this reunion doesn't align with initial expectations, hinting at potential complications or unforeseen circumstances. The journey continues with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. The origin of the current situation is traced back to an abandoned experiment involving a marker conducted by Earth government centuries ago. The planet is described as restless and threatening, but possession of the marker is seen as a means to restore order and achieve completeness. Urgent action is required as the planet's tectonic instability threatens imminent destruction. A plan is formulated to return the marker to its pedestal via a loading track to the excavation site. This act is believed to control the hive mind and bring about a desired state of wholeness. Time is of the essence, as the gravity tethers holding the planetary mass are failing. As the situation deteriorates, with gravity tethers failing and evacuation orders given, attempts are made to restart the tether systems. However, these efforts prove futile. A disagreement arises, with one party insisting on leaving immediately, while another appears trapped in a delusional state, refusing to acknowledge the dire reality of the situation. A recorded message plays, revealing the emotional turmoil and desperation of the speaker. They express regret and a desire for communication, hinting at a loss of sanity or control. The message touches on the nature of the marker and its ability to induce hallucinations or visions, blurring the line between reality and delusion. A shocking revelation occurs as it becomes clear that a key figure, Nicole, has been dead throughout the events. This truth unveils the depth of the marker's influence, causing hallucinations and manipulating perceptions. A confrontation ensues over control of a critical device, with both parties believing their actions will prevent further tragedy. The tension culminates in a decisive moment, with both parties pushed to their limits. The hive mind, a collective consciousness linked to the marker, becomes a significant factor in the unfolding events. The outcome of this confrontation will likely determine the fate of all involved and potentially the entire affected area. The narrative comes full circle, with a repetition of the earlier recorded message, emphasizing the cyclical nature of the events and the persistent desire for communication and understanding. This recurrence suggests unresolved issues and the lasting impact of the marker's influence on the psyche of those involved.